All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to open up by giving all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who will will and preach the truth and truth sincerely. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is the brother Amawana Yash from the GMS Indianapolis camp coming back at you with another quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I'm entitled today's lesson, The Saints Are Worn Out. And this comes from inspiration of a video that was sent in our chat by one of the elders dealing with this older Israelite man who was pretty much, breaking down and, just tired of working his life away. Because, hey, man, here in this kingdom, under Esau Edom's rule, all right, we are made to serve with rigor. All right, just like in ancient Egypt, the ancient Egyptians made us to serve with rigor. Well, that same thing is taking place here in this kingdom, man, in Babylon the Great, aka America, right, where Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, has rule over us, which the scriptures tell us. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Right, it says, I have seen servants upon horses, meaning those who are meant to be in position of servitude are actually in position of power. And we see that taking place, right, in today's day and age with the heathens being over us, man, as a people, right, over us Israelites, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and who's our main oppressor that's in a position of power? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And it says what? And princes walking as servants upon the earth. So, hey, we are princes of the power, man, are us Israelite men. All right, but here it is. All right, the basis of men is ruling over us. Now, we understand that at the end of the day, the reason why we're in this said position is because of our disobedience against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, because the scriptures tell us in Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we'll read verse 15 and jump down. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Which you can read all the curses from verse 15 all the way on down to verse 68. Which jump into verse 68, it says, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. You see, now this is dealing with spiritual Egypt. You read about spiritual Egypt in Revelation, the 11th chapter, around the 8th verse, right? It says, which is modern day America. All right, spiritual Egypt is referring to America. It says, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. This is dealing with the transatlantic slave trade, man. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. All right, in other words, slaves and servants. You see, so us working, all right, under the rule of Esau, Edom, so-called white man, is a direct curse from the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai due to our disobedience against the Lord. It says what? And no man shall buy you. What's that word? Buy, meaning redeem. So no man upon the planet Earth is going to redeem us out of this certain position that we're in. All right, when you read Isaiah the 47th chapter, it says what? I will not meet thee as a man, meaning what? Yahweh Shai, he's coming back in all his power and all his glory, and ultimately in his angelic body, man. You see, so Yahweh Shai is going to is who the Heavenly Father Yahweh is going to use to deliver us, all right, from this position that we're in. Okay, so let's go ahead and play a little bit of this. I'll just play it one time over. Hey, so also, man, this elderly Jake has had enough, man. And hey, those of us who are in the know, hey, as a matter of fact, let's get this. And Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So a man who is wise, which is a man who has his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, surely, hey, we understand that these heathens, really, man, they're supposed to be under us, okay? But, hey, man, now we're in a position to where we're being oppressed, and we're in servitude, and we're in slavery because of our disobedience against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But, hey, man, this oppression, it makes us mad, you know? None of us enjoy, waking up every morning, going to go work for a white man, making a white man rich, slaving our lives away, man. See, that's a vexation of the spirit, man. It says what? And the gift destroyed the heart. And you got a lot of jakes out there who get comfortable with this kind of lifestyle, with this kind of servitude, just because they're allowed to get money and able to get themselves, certain things and desires and things of that nature. So, due to the fact that Jake is allowed to get money and certain things, by slaving their lives away, their minds are completely destroyed, man, and their minds are dead set on pleasing the white man. Okay, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18. It says, for much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. And one of the things you come to understand and learn in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has given us is that ultimately, us as a nation of Israel, we are a people that's above all nations upon the planet Earth. You see, so for us to be in the position that we're in, for us to be under the rule of the basest, most vile individual, most vile nation created, man, or in existence, guess what, man? That increases sorrow and grief, man. You see, because ultimately we're living under a wicked ruler, all right, who does not forward the righteousness of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? And what this wicked ruler does is drain us of all our energy, okay, day in, day out, So, hey, man, those of us who are in the know, man, hey, we understand this, man. Just him being just tired of, working his life away, man, clocking in every day, man. Now, that shit's a vexation to the spirit, man. See, because these heathens, man, they supposed to be up under us, man. We ain't supposed to be working for them, man. Okay, but that's the direct curse that's been placed upon us because of our disobedience against the Lord, man. Okay, let's go to Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. See, so captivity is a direct curse from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and to be subject to payments. You see, and ultimately, as we work our lives away, man, we don't even get our full checks when we get paid, man. Our checks get taxed. All right, you got to worry about paying, bills, whether it be, rent, light bill, various different other payments. Right, it says, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, our power. You see, so ultimately, we are still in our captivity, man. And we got to go to work. We got to clock in every day. Make the so-called white man rich. Okay, so that's a direct sign that we are still in our captivity. You see, and this oppression, man, it ain't gonna last forever. But hey, man, like I said earlier, man, those of us who are in the know, we understand that this older Jake's, pain, man. Because hey, what Israelite in their right mind will be comfortable just slaving their life away, man? But hey, it's gonna be all right, cause hey, those whose captors, or whose captives we were, guess what, man? They're going to become our captives, man. Okay, Isaiah chapter 14, beginning of verse 1, it says, for the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. You see, so ultimately, when all is said and done, the Lord Yahushai is going to have mercy upon us as a people, man. Beginning with the elect, Lord, will we be at that number? It says, and also the strangers that the scripture is referring unto is referring to Israelite foreigners whom the Lord is calling back, okay, for salvation. Verse 2, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. You see, so the individuals and nations, the nations that are responsible, all right, for having a hand in our affliction, and those who took us captives, guess what, man? Hey, we're going to take them as captives, man. So that's all the heathen nations, man, beginning with Esau, Edom, and so-called white man. All right, Esau, Edom, and so-called white man is going into captivity. All right, the Hamites, all right, which are so-called Africans, are going into captivity. Okay, the Ishmaelites, which are the so-called Arabs, are going into captivity. The Ammonites, which are the so-called Japanese, the Moabites, which are the so-called Chinese. All right, any nation that's outside the nation of Israel, guess what, man? They're going into captivity. It says what? And they shall rule over their oppressors. You see? So just like Esau, Edom, so-called white man is ruling over us as we speak, and we got to clock in every day for this dude, man. And guess what, man? Hey, in the kingdom of heaven, all right, we're going to rule over Esau, Edom, and the other heathens, man. Okay? And they're going to work for us. It says, verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. You see, so the day is coming where the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to free us from this current bondage that we're currently subject to, man. All right, where ultimately we ain't going to have to work for Esau, Edom, so-called white man no more. And guess what, man? We're going to be put in high position, and the heathens, they're going to work for us, man. You see? So just like here in Esau, Edom's kingdom, okay, we're forced to work, okay, and make them rich. And guess what? In our kingdom, we're going to force them to work, man. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Meaning what? Ultimately, the heathen nations, man, they're going to be tasked with building up our kingdom. Yahweh Shai's kingdom, which by default makes it the kingdom of Israel. It says, and their king shall minister unto thee. And another word for minister is to serve. So the leaders of these nations, man, the kings of these nations, guess what, man? They're going to be brought low. They're going to be abased, okay, and made servants. It says, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So when all is said and done, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will have favor upon his chosen people, man. The nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, okay? But we understand that the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is upon us due to our disobedience. It says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. You see, so ultimately, hey, these heathens, man, they're going to be doing whatever we want, man. All right, whatever material we want, whether it be, silk or cotton, whatever the case may be. All right, we want certain stones and crystals and metals, whatever the case may be. We want gold, silver. Hey, man, we're going to tell them to bring us those things, man. You see, and ultimately, they're going to be constantly bringing us all the things that we want, man. Okay? They're going to be complete servants unto us. Verse 12, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So ultimately, if you don't want to get down and serve us, man, guess what, man? Hey, you're going to be put to death. All right, talking to you heathen nations. Okay? So let's go to Baruch chapter 4. In verse 6, it says, you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered to the enemy. So we were delivered into the heathen nations due to our disobedience against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, for he provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So the main transgression and evil that God has put in a position that we're in right now is serving other gods, man, and not serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So let's jump down to verse 29. It says, for he that hath brought these plagues upon you, the plagues being what? The curses, shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. So, hey, man, this older Jake is, just crying and breaking down, man. Hey, it ain't gonna be like this for the nation of Israel forever. And one thing is, man, this goes to show you that, this goes to show you the difference between those who do and don't have the truth. Because those of us who do have the truth, of course, we still have our spiritual lows and things of that nature, right? But ultimately, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all right, excuse me, keeps hope and faith in us alive to keep us going. You see, what we're going through right now, of course, it don't feel good, man. But the Lord, he's installed a certain ingredient within his elect to keep them going, man. That's the ingredient of faith and hope, man. Okay? But, hey, those who don't have the truth, man, hey, they're completely without hope, man. It says, verse 30, take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. And that's why the Lord is heavily judging America as we speak, man. Whether it be with thunderstorms or these natural disasters, okay, whether it be these various different diseases. Hey, the Lord's going to turn up the heat on this place, man, for everything that this place has done unto his children. It says, verse 33, for as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. So for everything that has happened to us as a people on this land, guess what, man? The Lord, he's going to lay this place flat, all right, with the nuclear destruction. Okay? And the fire is going to burn for an everlasting period of time. And what's going to happen is these various different desert creatures and animals are going to inhabit the land of America. But as far as people, it's over with, man. You see? So, hey, man. This Jake, man, is just pouring, is just crying his heart out, man. Hey, the Lord is eventually, and it's right around the corner, man. All right, the near future, man. We praying that this is the year, but the Lord, he's going to get these nations for what they've done unto us, man. And I'm going to leave you with this scripture in the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, and beginning in verse 17. It says, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. The former being what? This current kingdom that we're living in, under the rule of Esau, Edom, so-called white man, where wickedness is forwarded, and ultimately we are subject to serve these devils. Okay? And the new heavens and the new earth is ultimately going to be Yahweh Shai's kingdom, which is going to be established upon the planet earth in righteousness. Right? Verse 18 says, but be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. Verse 19, and I will rejoice in Jerusalem and join my people. And here's the point. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. You see in the scripture in Revelation says that the Most High shall wipe away all tears from his people, man. And that begins with the elect. So, hey, man, point is, we're not going to be in this position forever, man. The time is coming where the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, is going to deliver us, man. We ain't going to be slaves under these heathens no more. And, hey, man, we ain't going to have to cry no more. Hey, we ain't going to have to worry about death, sorrow, none of that, man. The Lord's taking all that away. You see? So, hey, man, the saints of the Most High, are being worn out, like Daniel the 7th chapter says, man. We all tired of working for Esau, Edom, so-called white man, clocking in every day for this devil, man. You see? But the Lord, he's not going to leave us in this position forever. You see? So I pray that this lesson was edifying to the body. As a matter of fact, I'll leave you with this one. In Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 12. Turn you to a stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. So ultimately, hey, we gotta keep the hope and the faith, man. See, because, hey, like it says, even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. For everything that we went through as a people, as a nation of Israel, guess what, man? The blessings that the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, showers upon us are going to far exceed anything we ever went through as a nation, man. You see? So I pray that this lesson was edifying to the body, uplifting and exhorting. And I pray that you got something out of this. And without further ado, I would like to close out by giving all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and preach the truth and truth of sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And Lord's will, I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, I say shalom.